Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money with your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 294 of Screw the Commute podcast. I'm here with Greg Jameson. And this guy's been doing the web thing from the start, just like me and the computers way back. So can't wait to introduce him to you. Hope you didn't miss episode 293. Adam Schrader was here. He's edited over 2,000 podcasts for many different hosts and is co-host of the Work From Home Show podcast. Plus, he's a stay-at-home dad for 4 young children, so he created a lifestyle business for himself. Now, how would you like to hear your own voice here on Screw the Commute? Well, if the show's helped you out at all in your business or given you ideas to help you start a business, we want to hear about it. Visit screwthecommute.com and look for a little blue sidebar that says, send a voicemail. Click on it and talk into your phone or computer and tell me how the show has helped you. Remember to put your website on there and you'll get a nice big shout out in your own voice on a future episode of Screw the Commute. Now, I hope you didn't forget, if you've been listening to the show, to download your copy of my automation ebook. We sell this thing for $27, but it's yours free for listening to the show. And it's helped me handle up to 150,000 subscribers and 40,000 customers without pulling my hair out. Saved me millions of keystrokes and allowed me to grab business from other people who were too slow to get back to their prospects. So grab that at screwthecommute.com/automate free. Screwthecommute.com/automate free. While you're at it, grab a copy of our podcast app, which is screwthecommute.com/app for your cell phone or tablet. You can take us with you on the road. We have video instructions and screen captures, so you figure out how to use all the fancy features. So that's screwthecommute.com/app. Now we're sitting here in the middle of this pandemic, and people are searching for work for home on Google like crazy because they're not used to it. And I'm getting calls from people that have known me for 25 years that say, oh man, Tom, I should have listened to you back in 1996, you know. And I say, yeah, you should have, because you wouldn't be stuck nowadays because you can sell around the world from your desktop. You don't have to wear a mask while you're sitting here. Okay. You can if you want, if you're into that kind of stuff, you know, but you don't have to do that. So we have a school. We have the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country. It's imtcva.org. And it's great nuts and bolts skills that teach you how to do all this stuff that Greg and I do. And it's a great legacy gift. Rather than sending your kids or grandchildren or nephews and nieces to traditional college where they spend 4 years learning how to protest and racking up massive debt, get them a scholarship to my school. And within a couple months, they'll have a career possibilities that's in high demand, that we have people making money before they even graduate. And it takes 6 months to a year to graduate, but they can make money along the way. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So check it out at imtcva.org. Give me a call and I'll discuss your future online. All right, let's get to the main event. Greg Jameson's here. He's an Inc. 500 award-winning entrepreneur and the author of #1 best-selling books, the Amazon's Dirty Little Secrets and the Influencer Effect. And he's partnered with some of the most successful influencers on the internet. Greg, are you ready to screw the commute?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
All right. So, it was good meeting you. We met through some other influencer on a thing that Steve Olsher was doing. And that's great that we were able to cross paths like that, because you've been in this longer than me. I mean, I was doing computers before the internet started, but not to the level you were. So let's tell them what you're doing now, and then we'll take you back and see how you came up to the point you're at now.
All righty. Well, right now I am helping people sell more online. I develop e-commerce websites for people, get them up and running where they're actually selling products, and then I do internet marketing with them, show them how they can actually not just have the website out there, but actually start selling stuff on the website.
So are these one-on-one programs, or how do you work with people?
I've got a couple of different ways. One is certainly one-on-one, where I'm building out their website and then teaching them on an individual basis how to actually run their website. But I also do a series of online courses for people where they want to learn how to do it themselves.
Okay. And what have you seen? You've been doing this a long time. So what have you seen are some of the biggest mistakes people make that do try to do it themselves?
Exactly that. They try to do it themselves. And, there's lots of giants whose shoulders you and I stand on, that it's like Tony Robbins says, that success leaves clues. And that's really one of the things that I talk about in my book about Amazon's dirty little secrets. People think, oh, that was a expose about Amazon. It's like, no, that's a book that shows you how Amazon got to the point where they are, the different types of things that they did, utilizing the power of other people to market and sell products on their behalf, and how you can do those same kinds of things yourself if you'll just watch what the leaders in the industry have done, and you can mimic those things and do it yourself.
Yeah, and I think that they kind of were the ones that really, really developed the affiliate marketing mechanism to high degree. And I don't know if they invented it, but they sure ramped it up massively, and that's attributed to their growth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they did not invent it, but they certainly were the ones that took it to the level where, there were literally hundreds of thousands of people promoting products for them. And that's a key to anyone's success doing business online today, is to get other people to promote your products for you.
Yeah, and now they're getting a little snooty about it now. If you don't sell enough, they kick you to the curb. And then some states, I remember they had trouble with California about something, right?
Yeah, they definitely have gotten a little bit too big for their britches now, and I kind of feel like they no longer need all the people that got them to where they are.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's the way.
That happens with all large businesses. To some extent, I think is it got them there. Now they're on to other ways of doing things. But certainly, as you're growing your business, and obviously growing it. You can grow it up to the size of an Amazon type thing by doing something like the affiliate marketing.
Yeah, no, never pushed my students that direction because the commissions were so low. Now, I'm thinking about even myself now doing a fulfilled by Amazon, finding products and where I don't have to mess with it too much and see how that goes. But just straight affiliate marketing for commission, your time would probably be better spent just creating your own products, an ebook, or finding ebooks that pay a much higher commission, or digital products that pay a much higher commission, I think.
There's no question about that. The fact is that if you are trying to make a living being an Amazon affiliate, you will starve.
Yeah, I don't want to starve either.
And that's true even before they got to where they were cutting their commissions to their affiliates. The fact is that what you want to do is exactly what you said. You want to create your own product, and you have your affiliate program where other people are selling on your behalf. So I'm not suggesting that people become an Amazon affiliate, but rather that you take a look at what Amazon did and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should create an affiliate program for my digital products and get 100 people out there helping me promote what I have to offer.
Yeah, and it was bad before the commissions, and then it just got worse. I'm all for your own products, but or products that have a really significant affiliate commission. Because something that you'd make 5% on Amazon, you might make 50% on JVZoo or ClickBank or, somebody's proprietary product. So that's okay. But killing yourself to get traffic and then influence people to get a, minimal commission is, you're right, you'll starve to death. So let's
Hey,
take.
I'll take 50% off of a $1,000 digital product all day
Yeah,
long.
exactly. Yeah. So let's take you back. So you were telling me before we got started that you had a situation where, as a very young kid, you got exposed to computers, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. I grew up in the mid 70s, and my father worked for Colorado State University, and he had a research project that allowed him to bring home a portable teletype machine.
Wow.
So and we actually had an account at the county mainframe computer. So I got to start playing with a computer at home about a decade before personal computers came out, and kind of got a head start, a little bit of a jump on everybody else there because of that.
Well, I remember in college doing something with these punch cards, but I have no idea what the heck I was doing. But you had to go and you stick them in this enormous, you go in this enormous room with these enormous machines and stick these cards in. And I don't know. I really don't know what I was doing. Do you remember what that was?
It's funny. I actually still have a couple of punch cards laying around the
Oh, yeah.
house. They make great bookmarks, and note cards and everything else. But yeah, I spent many an hour in the basement of the engineering building in front of a punch card machine. And then you'd carry these. At the time, some of the programs I was working on were fairly complex, and we actually had like 2 boxes of punch cards.
Yeah, there was stacks of them I would have to take in there. Yeah.
Yeah, then they would feed them all through the punch card reader, and if any one of them, of course, was out of order, it's just like, I mean, it was a computer program, right? And
Right.
so each card was the next line in the computer program. So if you dropped the cards or got them out of order at all, I mean, talk about being screwed.
Yeah. So, what do you remember what your first PC was?
The very first computer that I purchased myself was a Texas Instruments TI 99.
Uh-huh.
And that was one of these that
What year was
hooked up.
that roughly?
Oh, good question. 70, I don't know, about 1978,
See, I just
79.
remember I was in college from 73 to 78 and bought my first Texas Instrument calculator. All it would do was add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and it was $79.95.
Yeah, the calculators were expensive.
Yeah.
About that same time frame, I got a Hewlett Packard calculator, and it seems like it was about $100.
Yeah. So then when I kind of remember my first PC was an Apple, and it had a 40 megabyte hard drive. And so and I said, oh, this doesn't work. What am I going to do? And then, do you ever remember CPM machines?
I do.
Yeah, I had that was $6,000. I had that in the 80s to run my nightclub, and it was $6,000, and it wouldn't darnly do too much of anything either.
Yeah, I never had a CPM. I did have, after the TI 99, I did have an Apple II, which was actually a great machine. Steve Wozniak was the real brainchild behind that, and that was an awesome computer. Then I went to an IBM PCAT, which was their advanced machine. The other advantage I had here is,
Oh yeah, an AT, that was advanced, yeah.
yeah, my father-in-law worked for IBM, so I actually got to buy IBM machines at the employee discount.
Oh, that's a good deal. So did you ever have a job?
Well, I went to graduate school in Arizona.
For what?
And
For what? What'd you take
for
up?
landscape architecture.
Oh, okay.
I was going to be a landscape architect. And
And that was that all writing, making stuff by hand then, or did they have any kind of computer programs that would help you lay out stuff?
Oh no, it was definitely all by hand.
Okay.
I was the person that got the whole thing started actually for doing things on the computer. Because what ended up happening here is that I got out of graduate school and went to work for a local landscape architecture firm, and it was maybe only about a year into it, I guess, of working there, that AutoCAD came out, and we had a couple of reps for AutoCAD come and show us what.
And that CAD is computer aided design.
Computer aided design.
Okay, right.
Computer aided drafting. So they showed us this program, and I thought, hey, this is actually pretty cool. You could draw on the computer essentially. Right. And so I convinced the principals of our office that we really ought to do this. And they spent like $50,000 or $60,000
oh, man.
getting a CAD station in there. And after we did that, they discovered, this really doesn't do landscape architecture at all. This is just kind of an expensive toy. And they looked at me and they were like, Jameson, you better fix this. So I was like, this actually looks kind of fun. I would go in on the weekends and stay in the evenings and stuff. That's one of the reasons why I bought the IBM AT at the time, because it was powerful enough to actually run.
So they wanted you to fix commercial software to work for what they needed, right?
Yeah. And
how did you get into commercial software? Didn't they have it locked up tight?
No, actually they didn't. One of the premises of AutoCAD from the very beginning was we want to allow people to customize this.
Oh, great.
So I went in and I did that. And about 3 months later, the people that sold us the system came back to see how we were doing. And I showed them some of the stuff that I had done, and their eyes lit up and said, you know what, we could sell this stuff. And
did you have the rights to it? Or did your company have the rights to it?
The company did.
Yeah, because they paid you to do it.
Right. So I basically made a deal with my boss and said, you know what? I would like to do this. I would like for these guys to sell it. I would like to develop this further. And we made an agreement where at that point, we basically were 50-50 partners, where they would fund it. I would do the coding, and we would sell this.
That was smart. Yeah.
And kind of one thing led to another. It took about another year, I guess, of going to some trade shows and my company deciding that they really didn't want to be in the software business, and me deciding that I really did want to be in the software business. And I ended up creating a buyout agreement with them over a period of time. And I now owned the rights to it. And that was my first real company. And I've never had a job since.
So that was the transition, a buyout agreement, but you were smart in the first place to make the deal with them rather than just get work for hire kind of stuff. So that's a really smart thing, folks out there listening to this, is that, they couldn't have done this without him, and it wouldn't have gotten done. So he had a position where he could make a deal, at 50-50, and then eventually buy them out. And there's a way to start a business right there and get funded to do it. So did you have, when you actually left, did you save up money? Had you had any of your own business experience, really?
I was fresh out of grad school. I think I still owed money on my student loans.
Uh-huh.
No, I had no money at all. Because I had a graduate degree, credit card companies loved me.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I racked up about $100,000 worth of credit card debt to get the company started. Fortunately, I had all of that paid off in about a year.
Wow.
And I had my buyout agreement with my former employer paid off in about 3 years. So at one point in time, I decided, I'm going to expand this business a little bit. I ended up growing that business. We were in 25 different countries around the world.
Gee.
The software was translated into about a dozen different languages. We had like 60 distributors, and I think it was 250 resellers, kind of going back, letting somebody else sell your product for
Right.
you. But yeah, it ended up being a fairly big deal before we ended up merging with another software company and taking the whole thing public. But not even sure where I was going with all that. Other
Well,
than
the
the
thing
fact,
is, this is how you
I
transitioned.
didn't have money saved up.
Okay.
I went in debt to do it.
Right. But boy,
Not
you paid it
necessarily
off
recommending that.
I know. Yeah, I know. But you did pay it off in a hurry. So you had something good going for you. And then, did you get out of the software business? How did you get into what you're doing now?
Well, what ended up happening was that, like I said, we merged the company with another software company and went public. And I thought, okay, this is great. But with the SEC rules, I kind of had a pile of stock there that I couldn't sell because of insider trading
Right.
regulations. And by the time I could sell it, it wasn't worth anything.
Oh, gee.
Fortunately, I was on a trip and I was in the Chicago airport and ran into one of my past employees. And we started talking about what he was doing and the fact that I kind of had worked myself out of a job and needed to do something else that was fun and interesting. And we decided to join forces and we built another software. This one was for school scheduling, where schools could go in there and rent out their facilities when they weren't using them for school purposes, whether it be a soccer field, for a soccer team, their gymnasiums, maybe for a church or something, certainly all their classrooms
That
for
was
different
pretty innovative at that time, wasn't it?
community activities. Yeah, we had school districts that were making an extra $500,000 a year by renting out their facilities, and they
Wow.
thought we were pretty cool
Yeah.
for having created this software, which was basically a database application running at that point on the internet. And
That was a software as a service then, right?
it was a software as a service. We were using a Microsoft SQL database. We were programming in Cold Fusion to do it. And it was doing well enough that I was talking to my partner just because I had done this before with the LandCAD program. I was like, hey, we really ought to take this national and maybe even international and let people utilize this. And he was not on board with that at all. He basically wanted a lifestyle business. And so we didn't do it. But I was like, I want to do something a little more significant than just sitting here writing computer code.
Right.
I really want to be helping people. So I ended up, at that time, the internet was really just taking off. And I ended up splitting off from him. I let him buy my shares in the partnership out. And I started developing, again, a third piece of software for people that wanted to sell online, and specifically wholesalers, people selling big pieces of machinery. For example, one of our early clients was a concrete pumping company that was selling $250,000 concrete pumps. And those people certainly weren't going to be creating a store where somebody would look at different concrete pumps and say, I want this one, put it on my credit card
Right.
and ship it to me. So it was a wholesale application where basically a store could end up buying stuff from an importer, as an example, or a contractor could end up buying something from like this concrete pumping company or whatever. We had one company, I remember, that actually accepted 99 different payment terms, which you would never find in an online store
Right.
for a retail application. But so there were some real significant differences between a wholesale application and a retail application. And at the time, I was the only one doing it. So I got the opportunity, I guess, to kind of grow that. But the interesting thing about the internet is that it changes so fast, and it changed so fast then that within a few years, there was a lot of programmers out there doing things that were a whole lot better than anything I could do in terms of creating online stores. And so today, I don't write any code anymore. It just evolved. It was like there's these other people out there that are much better coders than I am. I'm just going to be creating applications for people using kind of off the shelf stuff that anybody can do. And now today, with like WordPress and WooCommerce and all of the thousands of plugins that are out there, anything that I could do 15, 20 years ago, anybody can do it now just with a WordPress and WooCommerce website.
Yeah, that's funny because my whole career, I've only used off-the-shelf stuff. It's been frustrating in the early days, but yeah, like I've used the same shopping cart for 18 years now, and it runs up in Canada on its own server. I've probably got 70 different websites going through one account. So, but it's all off the shelf stuff because the people that I deal with are never going to program anything like you are. I can't. I'm here sitting there thinking Cold Fusion. I know, I heard of that. Isn't that something with your, when your freezer's going bad or something? Yeah. So we got to take a brief sponsor break here. When we come back, we're going to ask Greg what's a typical day look like for him now and how he stays motivated. So folks, how would you like to have a free strategy session all about the business you want to start or the business you want to improve? Well, if you qualify and it makes sense for both of us, I'll review what you have going and get on a Zoom or phone call with you and give you a customized strategy session. So check it out at screwthecommute.com/application, screwthecommute.com/application, and we'll see if it makes sense for us to get on a call together. And of course, I want you to join my mentor program. It's the longest running, most successful ever. I triple dog dare anybody to put theirs up against mine with all the unique features mine has, including one-on-one consultation with me and my entire staff for a year. It includes a immersion trip to my retreat center. That's, of course, when the pandemic lifts up, because you actually live in the house, in this big estate house we have here, and we have a TV studio here that we shoot video with you. And so all kinds of really unique features to it. And you also get a scholarship to my school that I mentioned earlier. So it's a very, very powerful program. So let's see if we can get on a call and kick it around a little bit. There won't be any big machine gun nest or high pressure, but I am looking for people that are interested in high-level training and either starting an online business or taking theirs to the next level. All right, let's get back to the main event. Greg Jameson is here, and he's been in the game a long time, and he knows the computers front and back, but he's kind of transitioned to, like me, I don't want to I don't want to try to program or even hire a programmer. That I'd definitely shoot myself in the head with there, because they speak a different language than us entrepreneurs, that's for sure. But Greg has made the transition. So Greg, what's a typical day look like for you now that you're not doing any programming, you're just helping people with their online stuff?
During the time of this pandemic, people have certainly asked me that question a lot. And the reality is, for me, is that not a whole lot has changed.
Same with me.
Because I kind of get up when I want to. I will, sometimes go for a walk first thing. Sometimes I'll check my email first thing. It all depends upon the day. But I live in front of the computer, not because I have to, but because I actually enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
People ask me all the time, hey, when are you going to retire? And I'm like, if I retired, I would probably be sitting in front of a computer. And as long as I'm doing that, I may as well get paid for it.
There you go. That same thing. Same. That's probably why I like you so much. The same exact thing. People, when are you going to retire? And I'm like, from what? What am I retiring from? I'm not going to some job where I got to listen to some idiot tell me what to do.
Yeah. So like you, I live in a big house. I'm out in the country. It's actually a log house that I built
Oh,
myself.
nice.
I designed it myself on AutoCAD. I was the general contractor. So I've got this thing that people kind of refer to around here as the log palace, because I sit out here on 8.5 acres in the pine trees, and
Sit out where? Where is this?
I'm about halfway between Denver and Colorado Springs,
Okay.
at the
What's the
northern edge of
elevation where you're at?
6,800 feet.
Wow. Oh, man.
So great views of the Rockies from here. Like I
Nice.
said, kind of in a ponderosa pine forest. What I end up doing, I don't have a specific schedule from one day to the next because it varies depending upon the clients that I'm working with.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm doing a live online course where once a week I do have a schedule with my students where we're meeting via Zoom, and they get to, I give them lectures. I do teach at the local college as
Oh.
well. So right now the college
Oh, wait
is
a minute. We
all
have to stop this interview now.
online courses.
No, we got to stop the interview because you commute now to the college and.
I don't. It's all online
Oh,
courses.
okay. All right. You can keep going then.
And what I'm doing with my own students are obviously online courses as well. So occasionally I have something scheduled. People will schedule, my clients that have websites with me that I have developed for them, they will schedule calls with me. But for the most part, my day is pretty unstructured.
Well, tell them about the podcast because that's how I met you.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do is I've got my own podcast as well. It's called 20 Minutes of Influence, which is all about, you can probably guess, using other people's influence to help you sell your products online. Yeah. As you mentioned at the beginning, I've written a few books. I'm kind of constantly writing new things. I put out a blog post every week. I put out a podcast every week, but it's unstructured and it allows me to kind of go out and enjoy the pine trees when I want to. I During the winter, I will take off usually one day a week and go skiing.
Oh, you know what I hate about skiing is when some 3-year-old kid stops to ask me if I'm okay after I crashed.
Yeah, well, and that's about when I started my kids skiing. Is I always had this joke that with my wife that, hey, if they can walk, they can ski.
There you go.
And the funny thing is it's probably been 15 years ago now, I guess. I was showing off for some exchange students that we had living with us at the time, and I launched myself off of one of the big jumps in the terrain park, and I came down and I shattered my left knee.
Oh, yikes.
I could not walk. I literally could not walk for 6 months. When I did start walking again, my boys looked at me and they said, Dad, if you can walk, you can ski.
Payback. Oh,
So,
man.
yep, payback. But it was worth it.
Yeah. So tell them how they get a hold of you.
The best way to get a hold of me is through my primary website, which is webstores. That's plural, webstoresltd.com. So webstoreslimited.com. And I actually put together a short online course here for free, just for the listeners of your show. It's how to create the perfect product listing when selling physical products in a digital world.
Great.
And they can get to that actually by going to webstoreslimited.com/screwthecommute.
Okay. Very creative URL there. So, well, great. So, and then how about the podcast?
The podcast, you can just get to that. If you go to 20minutesofinfluence.com, that will take you to it. It's actually a subset of my kind of personal website, which is at gregjameson.com.
All right. Well, we'll have all of this stuff in the show notes, so people could just click on it. They don't have to worry about writing it down. So thanks so much for coming on and giving us a picture into your lifestyle business and how you got there. A lot of good tips on for people that are interested in making deals and moving through businesses and going public and having worthless stock. So we try to avoid that. So thanks a lot, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Tom. It's been fun.
All right. We'll catch everybody on the next episode. See you later.